Greetings, hope you're doing well. This is Isaac, and today's subject is all about calculating the lowest common multiple using factorization or inspection. Now, just to recap, what is a lowest common multiple? Now, if we were to do a scenario or do it on an example, we will say 4 and 6. So you must say, what are the multiples of 4? So we have 4, 8, 12, then 16. And then now you go to 6. You say, what are the multiples of 6? Say 6, 12, and then 18. Now, because you're looking for the lowest common multiple between 4 and 6, you will look at the number that appears in both multiples, which is what? 12. So 12 will be our lowest common multiple. Now, going into the question, it says, what are the factors of 123 and 144? So basically, we are looking for the lowest common multiple using factorization or inspection by using the factors of 123 and 141. Now, which factors should you use? You should use the prime factors. Now, prime factors are factors which are prime numbers. For example, if it consists of 3, if your factors consist of 3, 5, 7, then these are prime factors because these numbers are prime numbers. So now, what is the lowest prime factor of 123? It's what? So it's 3. Let me calculate. No, it's 3. So 3. So 123 divided by 3 will give me 41. Now 41 on its own is a prime number. So basically I'll have to divide by 41, because no number can divide into 41 without leaving a remainder except for 41. And then 41 into 41 goes in once. And then I move to 141. The lowest prime factor that can divide into 141 is 3. So 3 goes into 141 47 times. Now when I'm looking at 47, it's a prime number and it's a prime factor of 141. It's the lowest prime factor. So 47 divided by 47 will give me 1. So when they say find the lowest common multiple using factorization or inspection with the factors of 123 and 141, this is what we do. So we look at what appears in both of the scenarios. So in both scenarios we have a 3 here and we have a 3. So our LCM, because we have 3 that appears on both sides, we're going to say 3 because it appears on both ends. So now we are going to multiply the 3 with the 41 here. Say 3 times 41, and then we multiply it by the 47. And then that is our LCM, which is 5,781. So that's the first example. Now for the second example, which is a bit complex, they say factors of 200 and 1000. So we have to find their lowest common multiple. So now we say 200, we put it here. Now we have to find the prime factor that can divide into 200. So what is that prime factor? It's 2. Now 2 into 200 goes in 100 times. It's like the half of 200. Now, what is the lowest prime factor that can divide into 100? It has to be 2. Now 2 into 100 will give us 50. Now what is the lowest prime factor that can divide into 50? We also have another 2, which will give us 25. Now what is the lowest prime factor that can divide into 25? Of course 3 cannot go in there, but 5 can. So 5 goes into 25 how many times? 5 times. So we write down the 5. Now the prime factor that will divide is 5, and then we are left with a 1. Now going into 1000, what is the lowest prime factor that can divide into 1000? So we have 2. Then here we have 500, because 2 into 1000 goes in 500 times. Now what is the lowest prime factor that can divide into 500? It's 2. So 2 into 500 is 250. Now what is the lowest prime factor that can divide into 250? It's 2. So we're dealing with even numbers here, and the answer will be, now 2 can go into 250, but how many times? 125 times. But now what is the lowest prime factor that can divide into 125? Of course it can't be 2, because here we have an odd number. It can't be 3, can't go in, but it has to be 5. So 5 into 125 will give us 25. Now what is the lowest prime factor that can go into 25? Of course it's another 5. And then from there, say 5 into 25, because that's the lowest prime factor, so it will give us 5. And then it's 5, and then we have 1. Now for the last step, for us to find the LCM, we have to find the highest power of each prime factor that appears in either number. So what we do there is that we find our LCM by finding the highest power in both the scenarios. Now when we look here, we have 2 times 2 times 2, so we have 2 that appears 3 times even here, so which is the highest prime factors that appears in both scenarios. So we have 2 to the power of 3. Now you're going to multiply this by, now when looking at this will be 5 to the power of 2, but when you're looking at this one is bigger than this one, so basically you're going to say 5 to the power of 3. Now your answer is going to be 1000, and then you have found your lowest common multiple.